Brothers and sisters, how has your Lent been getting on? Well, for me, this year, Lent, right from the very first Sunday of Lent, story about the temptations of Jesus, I was reminded that the devil was trying to attack Jesus primarily in his identity. Because just before the temptations of Jesus, Jesus was baptized, and at his baptism, the Father's voice was heard saying, "This is my beloved Son." And here in the desert, the devil was trying to tell Jesus, if you are the Son of God, do this. So the attack on our identity is one of the primary ways the devil works to undermine our confidence, our life, and our joy. Because it is through our identity we experience security in our relationship with God. It's through our identity we have a good self-image. We are freed from fears, worries, and anxieties and guilt. When we are rooted in the identity that God gives us, then we can live a joyful life. And in today's gospel, we see how the Pharisees were attacking the identity of Jesus. When others were seeing Jesus as maybe a prophet, or maybe the Christ, the Messiah, even the soldiers who went to arrest Jesus came back and said, "Never have we heard someone speaking like him." And the Pharisees were attacking. How can this man is from Galilee? We know that the Messiah comes from Bethlehem. And see, even the Pharisees themselves were living a lie. They did not know the truth. They did not know where Jesus came from. And so the question of Jesus' identity, who is Jesus? I think this week, just before Holy Week, we're going to enter in Holy Week in a 1 week's time. We can see that conflict between the Pharisees and Jesus intensifying. And Jesus finally is killed because of his identity. He stood firm in his identity. Brothers and sisters in Christ, in the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius, we learn a truth that the devil attacks us, especially when we are moving from a life of sin to a life of holiness. He tries to discourage us. He tries to make us feel sad. Maybe he makes us focus on our sinfulness, on our past. He makes us discouraged by putting doubts in our minds, and we make us feel as though we cannot live the life of holiness, or God will not fully forgive us. So let us today reject all the lies of the devil, and let us regain our identity in Christ, that we are his beloved sons and daughters, so that this Easter, where we are celebrating the new life that God came to give us in Jesus, that through the death and resurrection of Jesus, we can experience forgiveness, and we are reborn through the waters of baptism, and we become his beloved sons and daughters. So let us live in that identity and find our security, our joy, and happiness in this new identity that God has given us in Jesus. God bless.